Another cool one. Yeah. I mean, I like them all. I'm biased. Yeah. Great ending on this song. Really cool.
Again, that one kind of had a cool, different type of ending. I mean, we've done stuff like that before, I guess you could say, but it's just not quite in this way. And the way it came out, again, with the way we did the vocals and everything was kind of cool. And I like, how the ending is very powerful. And it's one thing our drummer Steve always says is like, like he always likes the endings, and then some of the last couple of records, what happened to those endings, and then it's kind of cool because now it just naturally certain songs on this record just happen to kind of like, you just do something completely different at the end and it kind of takes it to a different level, almost like a climactic thing. So, it's kind of cool the way it worked out. That song again is a very aggressive song, very dark, and with a lot of different parts. I think most of the songs are like that, they're all very varied, but each one still has its own unique thing about it. But another one kind of just speaks about
really, it's a song about like people like us, people who don't believe in religion, people who are atheists, people who don't follow the herd, don't follow the pack, people who have their own thoughts and question everything, and it's about that kind of like people like us, like kind of, just coming together and kind of,
And I think more that you're seeing these days that a lot more people are kind of like seeing how things are, exactly. And kind of getting out of that.
A lot more people on the same page,
which is kind of cool,
Whereas you think you're in the minority, but a lot of people actually are on the same page, with whatever it is. So it's a cool song. It's just a cool concept, and the way we kind of developed it, I think it'll make sense when people read it. Definitely. On Fire. That was the first song Bob wrote for the whole process, and it's always the first song he writes are always like the weirder ones that have like a lot of different stuff going on. It's like I'm almost all the records, and that one was like
I guess it
was cool because you got the whole slow beginning, and then you had those weird sections, and then it explodes at the end. Really cool. And lyrically, it's a song about war, and we have multiple songs about our take on war throughout the last number of years, different records, specifically Majesty had a lot of stuff on war in there, but this one is unique. It talks about just, I guess, without getting into too much detail, it's a song about war, but it's a song about how the young are always the ones to suffer the most because it's the young people that always get shipped off to fight the wars. So it's coming from that perspective, but it's a cool song. It's a dark song, heavy, just bombastic at times. So I like it.
Yeah, it's got again dark vibe and kind of like takes off in certain parts, So it's definitely one I like. It's definitely got a lot of feeling too. Like Rook said, the beginning whole part, kind of has it's very dark and atmospheric, but then once it takes off, it's very intense. So it's a good one.
Totally. Destructive Currents is going to be the first one we kind of put out there. And Tommy Jones did one of those 360 things to showcase the artwork and the first track. And we picked this one only because it's a straightforward track. It hits you hard. It has a lot of cool elements. It's very dynamic. It's catchy. And we didn't want to have too many spoilers for the first song, because a lot of the other songs have a lot of different weird stuff going on, and we didn't want to throw that out there just yet. We want to keep that for when people get the record.
Yeah, this one I think is smack dab in the middle of the record, actually.
Yeah. So it's a good song. It's to us, hopefully the fans think it's good too. But I mean, I think it's a good one.
This one
fast and catchy.
Slightly different. Like it just so happened the way the riff lended itself. It's got more of that kind of like thrashy kind of beat throughout, which is something we don't typically do.
More beat is back.
Kind of reminiscent of our older stuff at the beginning. It's just the way it worked out. There's certain, when I'm writing the riffs, there's certain beats that work or don't work, and this one just that particular type of beat felt right to me. And again, it's got some, a couple little bizarre parts, but to still have like a kind of a cool driving force to them, So it's definitely something I think when they hear it, when the kids hear it, they'll see. It definitely gives you a good taste for how the record's
Sure. It's a good, it'll be a good first track to kind of get out there to kind of whet their appetites because it's a solid song, and again, lyrically, I think originally the working title we had for this was called Feeding the Mob, which we wound up not using. We used Destructive Currents, and the idea behind that was that herd mentality and kind of feeding into that and kind of perpetuating that and kind of riling people up. And
and once you get that group together, it becomes somewhat of an
becomes a life of its own.
Unstoppable force. Sometimes, a lot of times, for the worst. And that mindset becomes, once everybody's doing it together, it's, they feel like what they're doing is justified, so it's kind of like taking that.
Well, you get kind of caught up and lost in that, moment, and people feel like they're invisible because they're acting as a whole, in that group.
Right,
so,
individually.
So, whether they, whether it's violence against each other or other groups of people or, just, senselessly like destroying, burning, stuff like that. That's that, the whole thing. And you see a lot of that, unfortunately, now around the globe, so that's kind of what the idea behind that song. So,
Collected soul, scraps and watch them